Hey boys, what's up? I'm back with a different video, and I'm in a good mood. And you can probably guess why. Because Queensland won. And so, I thought I was going to do this anyway, but I thought I'd do like an analysis, like give my opinions on how players went in the game. So, let's get straight into this. We'll start with New South Wales. So, we'll start off with Josh Dugan, who I thought played very good. You know, if New South Wales won, then I think Dugan would have got man of the match. He set up the first try. He looked their most dangerous, honestly. Everyone else didn't really look like they were going to. Yeah, no one else really looked like they were going to bust up like he did. Yeah, he was very good. Then we move on to Will Hopewadi. So, yeah, I didn't agree that he should have been there, and it showed. I mean, he was solid, honestly. His defense, like his defense with Morris on that side was good. Or far be it from, you know, against an out of form Inglis and Boyd, but they were solid. He was solid under the high ball. I don't think he made any mistakes, but honestly, he didn't really produce anything in attack. Like, if you just look at like Chambers, he didn't get much opportunity, but he took so many runs out dummy half. He took so many of the hard runs. Hopewadi did none of that. He really didn't involve himself in the game like he should have. So, pretty poor game. Then Michael Jennings, along with Dugan, I thought he looked a little bit dangerous early in the, well, you know, a bit in that first half. But his defense was pretty poor. His defense, along with Tupu, was pretty average, honestly. I thought if Queensland spread it out to Hodges and Chambers a bit more, they would have scored a few more tries. But yeah, Jennings, I don't know, he didn't get himself into the game as well. He had a few good runs, but I thought Hodges covered him pretty good. So overall, Jennings was down a fair bit. I thought he was pretty average. Then Josh Morris. Now, obviously, Morris, along with Dugan, was easily the most dangerous. His defense on Inglis, outstanding. I do feel like Inglis was just way down on form, but Morris just handled him really well. I thought there was one time where Inglis put the big fend on, and I don't know how Morris hung on, honestly. I don't know how he hung on, but just held on to the jump and brought him down. But yeah, he looked the most dangerous in attack as well, along with Dugan. He got the first try. Yeah, all night he was pretty good. I thought, you know, if they won, it was going to be out of Dugan or Morris to get man of the match, probably. So yeah, Morris was very good. Then Daniel Tupou, very poor. Like, I don't understand Tupou. He's probably been like the form winger for the NRL, but when it comes to Origin, he just doesn't seem to be able to make the leap. It's like it overawes him or something, like errors and poor defense. I don't understand. You know, I'm glad. I'm not a New South Wales fan, so I'm glad he played poor, but you know, he let, who was it, Boyd I think it was, or it was either Boyd or Chambers, I forget, but they just totally like ran around him in the first half, like made 40 meters. He spilled the ball a couple of times. You know, he's usually very solid, but he made a few errors, and yeah, he was very ordinary, very poor. Then the halves, very contentious, but first you got Mitchell Pearce. I thought Pearce played pretty good. You know, everyone was giving shit to Pearce, that sort of thing, but I thought he was good. You know, he set up the Bo Scott try. His kicking game was decent. I thought, I still wonder about the tactics of just bombing like 50 meters out to Slater, because kicking on the full to Slater was, I don't know, it seemed like a weird decision. Hodgkinson and him both did this, and I don't understand why. I thought they had to find the ground a bit more, but you know, it was their plan. But yeah, Pearce, the few runs he did make, you know, he got his hand on the ball a fair bit. He did run the ball a fair bit, the chances he got, and he looked dangerous. If New South Wales stopped making so many goddamn errors, then he could have actually, you know, shone a bit brighter. But I thought he was good. Honestly, I don't know how they drop him. I think he has to be there for the next 2 games. And I think 5'8's a good position for him in Origin. Yeah, it just frees him up a bit more. But yeah, then we move on to Trent Hodkinson, and I'm looking... Okay, so I'm on the page of the NRL.com right now, looking at the ratings they give, and Hodkinson they gave a 7 out of 10. Which I'm fucking gobsmacked. Hodkinson was nothing. He was like I expected. He did not control the game. He didn't do anything. I thought his kicking game was poor. You know, they kept, like I said, they kept bombing it up to Slater, 50 meters out, and he got free 20 meters to run every time. No pressure. I thought the good thing about him, his defense. His defense is good. A couple of times Thaiday like brushed him off, but I mean he did a pretty good job on Thaiday. Thaiday's a hard man to stop, and I thought he did a pretty good job. But yeah, his lack of control just showed at the end of the game. Like New South Wales had a chance to take the lead and also level it up, and they fucking spread it wide, and yeah, it was just, I thought he was very poor. 7 out of 10, no way, man. Then we move on to Aaron Woods, and I'm looking at fucking hell. I'm looking at the ratings again, and they gave him a 9 out of 10. You know, I thought Aaron Woods, they're saying he's arguably the best player on the paddock. Fuck off. I thought he was average, you know. I didn't think he made that much impact. I thought he got put on his back pretty much every time he ran it. You know, Queensland just dominated their forward pack in the second half. There was only like 20 minutes in that game when New South Wales looked better. It was like the second 20 of the first half. And Woods wasn't on the field for that time. I thought Woods was pretty ordinary. I thought he got driven back. I didn't think he made that much ground. He didn't look to offload at all. You know, one of his best strengths is like his offloading ability. Didn't really look to do that. But yeah, then we got Robbie Farah. Robbie Farah, who was solid. I thought it was one of his worst games. They're saying here he made 61 tackles for no misses, which, you know, pretty outstanding, but he didn't really create anything in attack, and, you know, he sort of screwed it up when he passed it. I'm pretty sure he was the one who passed it to Dugan instead of Hodkinson down at the end of the game. And if it wasn't, then it's his job to get to dummy half to pass it, so, you know, a bit of poor play there, and he just didn't create very much, honestly. Then we got James Tamo, who I thought was their best forward. He set up the first try with a great offload. He just kept making ground, honestly. He ran hard. I thought his defense was pretty decent, but yeah, he was easily their best forward. He just made a lot of ground. He was very hard to put down. Bo Scott, he got that first try, but honestly after that I didn't see him at all. I didn't even know if he was on the field after he scored that try. Like, I didn't see him at all. He hardly ran the ball. His defense was probably pretty good, even though I didn't really see him. Yeah. If he didn't get that try, I would have said he played terribly, but he did get a try, so I guess you gotta say he played alright. Then Ryan Hoffman. You know, apparently he played 80 minutes. He didn't really provide too much in attack. His defense was solid. But yeah, Hoffman, just, you know, as I say here, Mr. Consistency, that's pretty much what he is. Just solid, really. Then we got Josh Jackson, the debutant. I thought he was pretty poor, and he showed he was poor, honestly. He gave away a penalty pretty early on. I thought he looked pretty ordinary. It didn't look like he was ready for it. You know, they kept talking him up. Jesus. The amount of talk up for this guy from like Johns and Fittler and stuff, it was crazy, but he didn't provide anything. Nothing in attack, nothing in defense. I thought he was poor, and I was pretty happy about it because I don't like Jackson. Then Trent Merrin. Trent Merrin didn't really get much game time, so it's hard to rate him. I thought, you know, he came on, I think he came on like late in that second half, so when like Queensland had all the ball, so, you know, he probably did his job in defense. Didn't really see too much of attack, so can't really rate him too high. Boyd Cordner. I thought I didn't even really notice a lot of their bench players. Boyd Cordner didn't really do anything for me. He didn't really provide anything off the bench, in my opinion. He didn't provide any spark. Like, that's what you need off your bench players. You need a bit of spark, and he didn't really provide that. David Klemmer. Jeez, another fucking overrated player here. David Klemmer didn't do anything. I think he made like 2 good runs, but like every other time he got just put on his back every time by much more dominant Queensland forward pack, in my opinion. Especially that second half. He just didn't provide much impact, in my opinion. And then we got Andrew Fafita, which I'm very surprised here. They gave him a 6 out of 10. I thought he was their second best forward. When he came on, and actually provided something. He provided a bit of spark and that sort of thing. He was hard to bring down. I thought Fafita played pretty good. Probably a bit unlucky, honestly. But yeah, now we'll go on to the Queensland player ratings. So Billy Slater, I thought was very good. He should have had to try in that first half. I can't believe that was no try, honestly. Like, obviously I'm biased, but that should have been a try. Fucking hell, man. He didn't even push him, but whatever. I thought he was dangerous all night. They kept bombing into him, and he kept making good ground off the kicks. Yeah, just played really good. Darius Boyd, I thought he was very poor. He looked slow. He looked out of form. You know, he let Morris get to the ball for the first try. Like, he had no awareness there. He should have got to it first, but he didn't. Also, he sort of bombed that try that we sort of scored in the second half. It wasn't the greatest pass by Inglis, but it didn't seem like Boyd was just way too far back, honestly. Boyd was pretty poor. Then Greg Inglis. Greg Inglis, wow. Greg Inglis is just so out of sorts at the moment. I don't know what's wrong with him. It must be something to do with his knee injury. I know they're saying like, oh, he had like a cold or whatever, a flu. But it must be some sort of injury hampering him, because he doesn't have the same explosiveness that he used to have. I hope he gets it back, because he's such a good player, but he just did not look good tonight. He came up with a couple of errors. His defense was okay, but he didn't provide anything really. Justin Hodges, he was outstanding. Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. Hodges just, if I was an opposition supporter, I would absolutely hate Justin Hodges, but man, he's such a good player. I just love watching him play. He's such a competitor. And he just makes so much. It's so amazing to me. Like, every time he goes to dummy half, everyone knows he's going to run it, but he always makes like 10, even more meters. Like, he's just so hard to bring down. He's just such a champion. Love watching him play. Then we got Will Chambers, who I honestly thought Chambers should have got man of the match. And it's, I'm looking at the thing now, and it said he made 228 meters. Wow. I knew he ran for a lot of meters, and that is outstanding. That is unbelievable. 228 meters for a winger. He didn't get like a runaway try either. He was like, they were like hard meters. He got in there, took dummy half runs. He took runs off first receiver deep in Queensland's territory to get them on the front foot. He got a try. He was absolutely outstanding. Should have got man of the match. Then we got Jonathan Thurston. He looked like he was going to bust them up a few times, but he just, they covered him pretty well. I don't think it was one of his best nights, but his kicking game was spot on, I think. Yeah, he didn't create too much. He looked like he was going to burst them open, but just things didn't quite go his way. Not one of his best games. Cooper Cronk, he played really good, honestly. It just shows how much better Queensland are when Cronk's in the side. He kicked the winning field goal, he got the first try. His kicking game was on point. Yeah, he just controlled it. You know, Hodgkinson can learn a lesson from bloody Cronk, just the way he controls a set, the way he sets up for a field goal, that sort of thing. It was just outstanding. Then we got Matt Scott, who when he was on the ground, I thought he was pretty good. I thought in that second half he was outstanding. He dominated the Blues forwards in the second half when he got a bit more game time. But yeah, it just didn't seem like he had enough game time. I mean, he was probably fatigued, but yeah. Other than that, very good game. Cameron Smith, I didn't think he should have got man of the match, but you know, he was good. He was very good still. Like, he would have made a amount of tackles. He was probably the best kicker on the field. His kicks out dummy half. So many times he turned New South Wales around, pinned them in their own corner. Yeah, he just, like Cronk, he controlled the game. Just outstanding. Nate Miles, I thought, played poorly. I think Nate Miles is past Origin, honestly. I wouldn't have him in my top side. You know, he does some good defense, but he just looks slow, honestly. He looks slow. He made a couple of errors. And yeah, I thought like Tamo got the better of him when he was on. Yeah, Nate Miles wasn't that good. Aiden Guerra, I thought was very good. You know, he played a lot of the game. I don't think he played 80 minutes. He must have been close though. But yeah, he got up there. He put some big hits on. Yeah, he was solid. He was very solid. Very impressed with Guerra. I knew he was going to play good, but he was just solid. Sam Thaiday. Yeah, he was a bit like Guerra. He played a lot of the game, which I thought was good. He kept running at Hodgkinson all day, and he looked to break through a couple of times. He didn't quite get the line break, but he was solid. He kept putting pressure on. His defense was outstanding. Aiden Guerra and Thaiday were definitely two of the better forwards for us. Corey Parker, they're giving him a 5 out of 10. I thought he was pretty darn good. You know, he didn't get his trademark offloads away, which, you know, in Origin isn't the worst thing. Sometimes you don't want to throw silly offloads, but he made a lot of ground. Every time he runs the ball, he makes like 10 or so meters. He's always standing in the tackle. I thought he was very good. Michael Morgan, he didn't get much game time. The time he was on the field, I thought he looked pretty dangerous. I thought his defense was pretty good. Yeah, but he didn't get much game time, but he did what he had to do. So, you know, it's promising signs for the future with Morgan. Not much, you know, there's not much else he could do really. Josh Maguire, I was really excited for Maguire to play. I mean, Origin is just made for Maguire. I mean, he just provided a lot of energy off the bench, honestly. He was probably the only bench player to actually provide anything, in my opinion. He ran hard, he tackled hard, he gave away a silly penalty, which shouldn't have been a fucking penalty. But yeah, I thought he probably should have got a bit more game time, but, you know, he is a debutant, you don't want to... Maybe just wanted to ease him into it, but yeah, he was very good. Very good, provided some good impact. Matt Gillette, he hardly played any game time. I don't think he should have been there at all. I mean, I didn't even really see him. I think he made like 2 runs or something. Maybe a few tackles, but yeah, what can I rate? He didn't really do anything. Didn't really get much opportunity either. Jacob Lillyman, again, I don't know why they keep picking Lillyman. I know they're trying to be... I know they're trying to be faithful to these players, but Lillyman, I don't think he deserves it because he doesn't provide anything. He really doesn't provide anything off the bench. He's solid. I don't think he made any errors or anything, but he doesn't provide that impact you need off the bench. But yeah, that's the player ratings. This video is probably dragged on way too fucking long, so I'm gonna pull her up there. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you boys in the next one.